Welcome, my name is Debbie and this is Pouring My Art Out for the Lord. And I just have a quick little video for you today. I was watching Luise Heinzl, and I'll link her video below, and she was making these page tabs. And she doesn't like the term mass make, which I understand her reasoning for that. Because she said mass making means that there's no real love poured into each individual project, which kind of makes sense. But she did like to do the mass make of this particular thing because she said she was still considering each one individually. Anyways, she's funny to listen to if you want to go over and listen to her. But she had these little page tabs, and she makes them with a recipe card or index card base. And I'll show you how to do all of this in just a minute. And I put, of course, my own spin on it and decorated it with my, largely with my Labels Galore kit, all of my faith labels. This is a kit over on my coffee shop. There's 20 pages of all different faith labels, different sizes, colors, shapes, all kinds of different sentiments, verses, and other just words and different things for faith. So these are a couple that I have just pre-made, just kind of tested out if I liked the process, and I really do. So here is a journal that I'm working on with our Inspired Junk Journaler group. So if you just have, this is just a plain page, but if you put one on the side here like that, it just adds a little extra something to that page. That one's maybe kind of a busy page to do, but let's see, what else do I have in here? Here's a hymn page. So if you put something like that on there, doesn't that look nice? Or you can put them at the top. This one, the wording goes sideways, but if you put the wording in this direction, you can do top page tabs, and then when you fold your journal, you can have the top page tab sticking out or the side page tab, whatever. What else do I have here that would look nice on a page like that? Most of these pages aren't completely done yet, so but I think it just really adds a nice decoration to the page, and they're super easy to do, really fun, uses up scraps, which is always fun. So I'll just show you how to make those. So I start with a piece of index card. You can use a 3x5, or I had a 4x6 index card. I guess for the measurements that I'm using, the 4x6 works better. So I just cut the 4x6 index card in half this way and in half this way, and I get 3x2 inch tabs. So, I mean, you could make them any size that you want, but that's what I've decided to do. And then I just folded them in half. You can score them on your scoring board, which I actually did earlier. And just fold them in half at the 1 inch mark. So then you have 1 inch by 3 inches on those. And then I take out my envelope punch board. I've been using this a lot more lately, and I really enjoy different projects with here, but you can definitely just cut these by hand as well. And I'll show you how to do that in a second. So on the envelope punch board, you put the fold towards the top and line it up at the 2.5 inch mark and give it a punch. Then I flip it over, still with the fold at the top, line it up at 2.5 inches again, and press. And I'll just do one more. So fold at the top, 2.5 inches, press. If you want your tab a different size, you can put it at a different place. 2.5 inches and punch. Luise did hers a little bit differently. I think she punched hers based on this this line and this line, I'm thinking. I'm not sure, but this is what's working for me. And then what you want to do is you want to cut off these two little bumps on the side. And I find a scissor works really well with this. You can really eyeball it pretty easily. You just want to cut from the edge here up until the bottom of the dip. And if it's not perfect, most of this is going to be hidden anyways. So, and I already cut up 2 index cards and got it to this point here. Well, actually, one more step. I'm just going to stamp the background, but so I cut up 2 index cards and I already have a few that I've started here. Or maybe that was just 1 index card. I think I did 2. So then what I usually do is, these ones are decorated on one side but not the back. You could do them on both sides. Luise did them on just one side because she said, you know, with the bulk, and I think hers were maybe a little more dimensional, but with the bulk you don't always want it on the front and the back. So if you put it in your book, you have this on the front, and then on the back, you know, it still looks great. And you could just put, you know, maybe one small label or something on the back to just add a little something, but I'm just going to leave mine plain. So I'm just going to stamp a little bit just so that gives a little more interest. This is tea-dyed index cards, so they've already got a bit of interest on them. And I will also ink around the edges of the back in particular. But I just have a couple of stamps here that, this is just whatever stamps you have, just really randomly, just to give it a little bit of interest on the front. Most of it's going to be covered anyways, but it's nice to just build up in layers, just to have some interest in layers, even when most of it is covered up. So that's all that's involved with that. I was just using Distress ink, frayed burlap, but you can use whatever ink you like. I don't like black for this because I think it's a little stark, but you could if you want. Okay, and then you just want to decorate a little bit. So you can decide whether you want your page tab on the left-hand side, on the top, or on, did I call this left? On the right-hand side, on the top, or on the left-hand side. Or you can also put them on tags. So this one is maybe a smidge too big. You could trim it though. You could put them on the top of a tag or a pull on the side of a tag, which will work fabulously too. And you could even make, you know, a slightly smaller version that would be better for some smaller tags. But so you could really customize this however you like. I'm going to make a right-hand page tab for this one. And I had made just a Bible collage. I just ripped up actually this Bible into strips and made a Bible collage, and then just did some digital stamping, and I sprayed it with distress ink and all kinds of stuff just to, and then I digitized it so I could print it out and just use it for backgrounds and stuff. So I'm just going to tear a little piece of that. I'm going to take my vintage photo ink and just ink around the edges, especially the part that's torn there. And then I'm just going to put a wee bit of glue here. When you're making collages, you don't want to be super heavy on the glue, because if you're heavy on the glue, then your collage will be stiff and not as inviting as it could be if you you know, I used to think you have to glue right down to every little edge. Well, you really don't. Like, especially on something like this, just put a little bit of glue in the center to hold it and it's fine. Okay, and then I'm just going to grab one of my labels galore here. Now, if I'm making a sideways one, these circles look really nice because they kind of go out into this bump there. There's Fruit of the Spirit. I will walk by faith. Perhaps you were created for times such as this. You can even use a bigger one. This is, it says faith on it. Do not fear. Maybe I'll use decisions. Maybe I'll use the pink one. I'm always kind of partial to pink. So I'm just going to ink the edges of that one as well. And just to give it a little bit more dimension, I'm going to grab a little piece of lace or some kind of a texture underneath that. So just grab a little piece of lace from my scraps here. And I want that underneath. And then sometimes I also do, this is actually tape. It's just a craft packing tape. And this is activated with water to stick it. So I just am gonna maybe take a piece of that and a piece of lace. I think with the other ones I often just stapled the lace onto the little label. Then you don't have to wait for it to dry or use fancy glue or whatever. And then I'm just gonna stick that there, so I will glue that part on. And then you could definitely, you could definitely add other bits and pieces as well. You know, you decorate them however you like. I have a little bag of some fussy cuts that I had done the other day. Just a bunch of different florals and things. That one might look pretty. That might look pretty there. Or at the top. I think I'll stick that there. I'm gonna just ink it up just to take the brightness down a tiny bit there. You can overlap the edges. You don't have to just stay right onto the shape of the tab. It's nice to kind of see the shape of the tab a little bit, but I think that looks nice. And then you can just add another little label or something. This is from All Things Red from the Junk Journal Studio. I just really love her labels and I use them every chance I get. I don't want to put another Faith label on here because it's good to have just one focal point. This label, it is a focal point, but it's also kind of an accessory as well. Whereas these ones that have the saying on, you know, you want to focus on that. You don't want to focus on that one. Actually, probably would have been a little bit stronger for there, but you don't want to have something conflict with that. So even though this is a really bold number, it's an accessory because it's just a number. It doesn't have that much meaning to it, or any meaning to it. So I'm just going to kind of tuck that in a little bit so that it does sort of recede into the background. And there we go. You can keep adding. You could add little dimensional pearls or something like that in there, but I think that looks really nice. And then they don't look as amazing on them by themselves. They look more amazing when they're on a page. But I'll do one more just to kind of show you again the process. Maybe this one I'll put a little bit bigger piece of lace all the way down. This one, I could grab my fabric glue, but I think I'm just going to, it's my stapler's right here, I'm just going to staple that one as well. Maybe I'll put that one on the left-hand side just to make a different one. So then we can decide what we want for a label. Or maybe I could make a top one. Maybe I'll make a top one this time. So that one just says Faith, it doesn't make things easier, it makes them possible. Here's a bold one, faith, hope, and love. Here's one that says Jesus, that's a pretty blue one. Maybe I'll make the pretty blue one. And you can make some of these page tabs in advance to this point, and then maybe, you know, maybe one more layer of something neutral, and then leave them for then when you're going to make your journal, and then you can kind of customize them to the colors of your journal. I'm not sure how well that's going to stick through that lace. Probably not really. I think I'm going to maybe give it another staple too, but let me put down a little bit of this sticker paper and see if that will adhere. Oh, probably adhere better if I stuck the right side. This is usually pretty strong tape, so we'll see if it goes through the lace or not. If you have some fabric tape or something, that would probably work better. I think that'll stay. You want to fold it up when you're working with it, because if you end up gluing over this fold, it's not going to fold. You can go over the edge because once it's folded it'll be fine, but you don't want to glue to the opposite edge here, if that makes sense. So I'll just glue this on top of the blue there. I mean, on top of the brown tape there, just for a little extra something. Somewhere I had, it's the wrong color blue. Let's see if I could tie a knot in this. It's too short. I could just kind of do a little bit of a, especially if this one is sticking up above the page. It's not going to, I really am going to have to glue that with some fabric glue though. And then, let's see if I have something in my fussy cuts here that might look nice. This is going to be awfully big. I almost need a smaller one. Trying to find something smallish and bluish. I could just do half of a butterfly. There's a bird. Oh, it looked kind of nice. I'm just going to put this bird there. I'm just going to kind of rub it over a little bit so that the white parts don't. Really should be on this side, shouldn't it? Looking over in this direction. I'm gonna have to get out some fabric glue there. And then I don't know if I want this bow here as well. That's kind of much maybe now. I can always change up what we're doing here. So here's some blue labels. Let's see what we have in here. If we have something nice and smallish that's not, doesn't really have much of a focal point on it, just a little extra. Something like that maybe. There's the same one, 30 cents. There's an even smaller one, I think. Let's see what this one would look like. Oops. Or is that too much? I think it needs to be here because it needs to be a full cluster. Then I think it would look okay. So I'm just going to ink that a little bit. When you're collaging, overlapping things is your friend. Things always look better when you overlap, and when you overlap, if you overlap between where these two join, you place this one where those two overlap. It just gives a more pleasing result than having, you know, one piece here, one piece here, and one piece here, sort of thing. Of course, it's very subjective. You do what kind of looks good to you. It almost needs something right there, some little thing. So I found some little gems here. Martha Stewart crafts. I don't know, does she still do crafts? These are old. But maybe just one of those would just give it a little extra something. What do you think? Can't even hardly tell it's there. But it does sparkle, right? It almost needs something blue underneath it. You don't really want to obsess when you're doing this. Do I want my bow back on? Oh, maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll do that. So this one is going to be a big, heavily decorated one. They don't all have to be like that. And I'm just going to put a little clip here so that dries on there without falling off. And that will be my final top one. So I'm just going to off camera do a few more, and then I'll just show you the results at the end. And I hope you make some. They're really fun to do. Okay, I've made a dozen of these book tabs, so I think that's good for today. So I just thought I would quickly show you what they look like. Some of them are more filled out than others. I like them all. They usually have a little bit of a touch of fibers of some sort for texture. The piece, a little piece of lace. This one is fairly plain, which I like. This one is a top one with the bird, do not fear. There's a nice pink one. I think this is one we made on camera. And this one I think we made on camera as well, I think. Bless the Lord, O my soul. It's a fairly simple one as well. His grace is enough. Chosen, blessed, forgiven, and redeemed. Chosen, blessed, forgiven, and redeemed, Jesus. Yeah. I like the pink on that one. This one just says adventure, and then love this, and then blessed inside with a little yellow flower. And here's another top one. It says Jesus. This is the other one. Actually, this is the other one that we made on camera for the top. So lots of fun. Go and make some. I think you'll be happy that you have those in your stash. I just wanted to also just show you here quickly. I made some paper clip slips that Tracy Fox had made a little while ago. And I had made some before, but these ones I decided to make with a dangle that used my Labels Galore kit. And I think they turned out really cute. So I just decorated the slip a little bit, and then I just dangled one of the labels here. So if you'd like to see a video showing how I made these, I can show that to you. I mean, they're not that difficult. You can follow Tracy's instructions, but if you'd like me to do a video on those, let me know. Put a note in the comment and I'll be happy to do that as well. So lots of fun things to do. So blessings. I hope you have fun.